If 28 days later was about survival, then 28 weeks later is about control, or more accurately, the illusion of it. Released in 2007, the sequel doesn't just expand the world, it explodes it. It's faster, louder, and far more brutal than 28 days later. 28 weeks later turns a quiet horror of the first film into a full-blown nightmare. Welcome back to the Rage Reborn, and in this episode we're heading deep 6 months after the original outbreak to London, being rebuilt just in time for the Rage virus to be reborn. Let's be honest, this movie has one of the best opening sequences in horror history. We're thrown into a safe house where a group of survivors, including Robert Carlyle's character Don, are hiding from the infected, but when things go wrong, and they go wrong fast, the infected storm the house, and Don does something unforgivable. He leaves his wife behind to save himself. It's brutal, it's cowardly, and it sets the tone for the entire film. 28 weeks later isn't about hope, it's about consequences. So here's the setup. 6 months after the outbreak, the U.S. military arrives in London to help the reconstruction and resettlement. And you have a safe zone that's established, District 1, where survivors and returning citizens are allowed to live. Don is reunited with his kids, Tammy and Andy, who've just returned from abroad. But there's a problem. They want to go back to their old home, where they find someone very unexpected. Let's just say if Don thought he left the past behind, he was wrong. Because soon enough the Rage virus is back, and this time it spreads through bloodlines. 28 Weeks Later is directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo, not Danny Boyle, and the difference is very clear. While Boyle's film was intimate and emotionally slow burning, the sequel was kinetic and explosive. It trades quiet dread for chaos, wide sweeping military shots, helicopters over a burning city, night vision in dark tunnels. And somehow it actually works. The director takes the torch and runs with it, this time full sprint. This is less about survival horror and more about mass panic. It's what happens when rage gets let loose in a world that thinks it's recovered. Now let's talk about the characters. Robert Carlyle's Don is fascinating. He's not a hero and he's very far from it. He's a selfish, guilt-ridden man, and his journey is twisted. What happens to him later is poetic and disturbing. The kids, Tammy and Andy, are solid anchors for the story. Rose Byrne plays Major Scarlett, a military doctor trying to do the right thing, while Jeremy Renner shows up as Doyle, a sniper with a conscience. It's a cast of good people in bad situations, and the performances are strong across the board. Where 28 days later was intimate and eerie, 28 weeks later is vicious. The Rage virus doesn't just infect bodies, it infects scenes. There's a nerve-shredding underground sequence in total darkness that's shot in thermal and night vision. There's a moment where a crowd panics in a stairwell and it becomes pure chaos, claustrophobic and animalistic. And of course, there's the helicopter scene. You know the one. That moment is wild, over the top, but unforgettable nonetheless. 28 Weeks Later explores themes of control versus chaos. The military thinks they have order. They scan for infection, they enforce curfews, they use drones as snipers to keep the zone clean. But once the virus breaks loose again, control collapses. It's very fast, and what's left is panic, firebombs, and cold military logic. The film asks what happens when systems fail a second time. What do you do when the people promising protection become just another threat? Visually, this movie is a step up in scale. It's slicker, bloodier, more aggressive. The camera movement is chaotic but purposeful, and it throws you into the panic. And once again, the music by John Murphy, including a return of In the House and A Heartbeat, elevates everything and connects the two films tonally, even though they're very different beasts. The ending leaves things in total disarray. There's no resolution, no victory, it's just spread. It's bleak. The virus hits Paris, the world is no longer safe, and for years fans wondered, will there ever be a sequel? Well, after nearly 2 decades, we finally have the answer. 28 years later, it's on its way later this week. 28 Weeks Later is a rare sequel that dares to go bigger, faster, and meaner, and somehow it doesn't lose what made the original work. Is it more action and horror? Yes. Is it occasionally chaotic to a fault? Definitely. But it sticks the landing and expands the Rage universe in a bold way. It's less personal than 28 Days, but more explosive and arguably more intense. That does it for episode 2 of Rage Reborn, and now the virus has gone global. Next time, we'll dive into what we know so far about 28 years later with the long-awaited continuation of this viral nightmare, the review. Make sure to like, comment your favorite 28 Weeks Later moment, and subscribe so you don't miss the final episode of this Outbreak trilogy for now, because we know the Bone Temple is also coming next year. And Rage Reborn will return.